Still has that tiny...
Yeah, I just...
Only in the high frequencies, though. That's where it really echoes. It's just going back and forth between these walls. Hey, what is up, guys? MKBHD here, and welcome back. Oh, what number is this? Welcome to Ask MKBHD version 16. This is a once a month thing, and we've gotten to May, so almost halfway through the year, and we've kept up with doing this once a month. So I asked you guys questions on Twitter, what you guys wanted to know, and this is what you asked. Wallpaper on 8K monitor you used in the video about the 8K monitor, where can I find it? So it's actually, believe it or not, really hard to find an actual genuine 8K wallpaper. So the one that you saw in the video was a rendered out vector file from my buddy Justin Maller, who's made tons of art that showed up in my videos before. It's called Ghosts 2. It showed up in previous videos. That is an actual 8K 7680 by 4320 version of that art. But it's weird, even when you look on Google for things that are that exact file size, there's sometimes just like upscaled versions of smaller files, really weird, sketchy stuff from wallpaper sites, so that's where that one came from. How much difference in image quality between the OnePlus 5 and the Galaxy S8 should be expected now that OnePlus is collaborating with DxOMark? All right, so if you haven't already heard, the hype is now real for the next version of the OnePlus flagship killer, the OnePlus 5. I don't know why they skipped 4, but that's the name of the next phone. And they came out and said that they're working with DxOMark to collaborate to make a better version of a camera for that phone. And as you know, DxOMark is pretty well known for just ranking objectively the smartphone cameras that come out year after year. They gave them a number. The highest one we've seen recently was a 90 from the HTC U11. We've seen 89s and 88s. But here's my take on that. You saw recently I've done a video just on a blind test of the 5 best smartphone cameras. And the difference between those 5 cameras in actual image quality was completely random and subjective depending on what photo you're taking. Obviously, some people could pick a consistent, clear favorite throughout the entire image set, but the difference in number of points on the DxOMark scale is not that high between them. So basically what I'm saying is I think the OnePlus 5 will have a pretty great camera, but the difference between that and the S8, it's not like you can measure it, it's just also going to be pretty good. What changes should the Clippers do to be relevant in the NBA? They should sign a good small forward. Why are AI assistants being pushed so hard? I still find looking up information with my fingers faster and easier. Well, Jason Curry, that is actually the reason why AI assistants are being worked on so hard, because they're still not quite better than just typing what you want to see. But a small throwback, I actually interviewed Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, a couple days ago in the last video, and something he mentioned that same day was they're working on AI assistants and voice assistants to get better, because that's just the way people communicate. We naturally talk to each other and listen to each other and respond. And that's how an actual assistant would help a person. So getting our virtual assistants to be as close to that as possible is the end goal. They're still not there yet, as you mentioned. It's still easier to usually type what you want to see, but that's why they're getting worked on so hard, is because the ideal assistant is kind of just like a person. Yo Marquez, 8 megapixel full frame sensor or 42 megapixel full frame sensor, light versus detail. So this is the video person inside of me speaking. I would like to see the 42 megapixel full frame sensor, because that means I'll get high resolution video out of it. 8 megapixels, I think, caps me at 720p. So I mean, I like low light shooting capabilities a lot, but most of the shooting I do is not in low light. So I'm gonna go with that 42 megapixel sensor. Why did you stop putting Cheerios in your videos? I don't really know what Cheerios are talking about, but they're pretty subtle usually. Did you cable manage your place after Linus Tech came over? So the thing about cable management is when you manage your cables, when you use cable ties and like lock them into place, that kind of implies that your setup in that area is going to be permanent in some way. If you organize all the cables and lock them into place and tie them around each other, around the table legs and everything like that, then if you ever want to change something out of that setup that uses one of those wires, it's a huge pain in the butt to get it out of that cable management mess. So bottom line, everything that I think is permanent in here, including the insides of computers, is great in the cable management space. But everything that's a little bit more modular, or that may or may not move or get moved out in the next couple weeks or months or years even, the cable management is definitely a little less on point there.
Your allergy to cable ties. But he can't buy a Velcro cable tie. It's like the guy's never heard of a Velcro wrap.
Will the iPhone 8 be portless? So assuming you mean the next iPhone that comes out in this September is the iPhone 8, I would say probably not this year, but ideally pretty soon. I guess I've said this before for Apple. If the iPhone goal is to be portless, And the only port that's left since they got rid of the headphone jack is the lightning port. Only thing you use that lightning port for is plugging it into your computer to sync data. And how often do we really plug in to sync to iTunes? And charging. Now, wireless charging is not really, I guess, where we want it to be for a full-time only way to charge a phone. It's still a bit of a work in progress, so I don't see the iPhone 8 now getting rid of that last port that people use for charging. But maybe in a year or 2 or 3 where we have like a sort of a radius-based wireless charging, this has been talked about, where you don't have to put it right on a pad, but in a general area and it starts to charge. When we get that down, then maybe we will see a portless iPhone. Are you ashamed of the number of typos you make on Twitter? We can literally reuse rockets and land them back on Earth and use them again, but we can't edit tweets. We could put man on the moon, but we can't edit tweets. We can build skyscrapers hundreds and hundreds of stories tall and thousands of feet tall with elevators in them that just shoot up to the top in a matter of a minute or 2, but we can't edit our tweets. We can upload 8K videos to the internet and stream them and play them back on the most ridiculously high-end machines. I have 140 terabytes over there in the corner holding video files that I can access at any time from multiple computers, but I can't edit my tweets. Why not Huawei? Do you hate them? Okay, so I see this a lot. And I think the easiest way to address this is, I think a lot of people who have this opinion where, oh, you didn't review that Huawei phone that just came out, why do you hate Huawei so much? Or, oh, I see this a lot, you didn't review the newest Sony flagship, what's with the hate for Sony? A lot of people saying this are people that are used to seeing reviews from big companies with dozens and even hundreds of people, and they can afford to have different people reviewing different phones at the same time and just churning out reviews. So they reviewed the Samsung phone and that Huawei phone and that LG phone and that Sony phone, and they review all that stuff. But for me, I'm coming at it a little bit different. You gotta remember, I'm one person. I can't review as my daily driver 4 different phones at once. So I don't hate Huawei at all. In fact, I really like Huawei and I've showed their phones before. And I really like Sony and I've showed their phones before. But I tend to show more of the phones that I'm personally interested in using, because that's why I review them. So I'll leave it at that. It's been a lot of fun. I liked it, a lot of the questions you guys sent, but there's a lot of exciting videos coming up, so definitely feel free to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already to see those when they come out very soon. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.